Hey, everybody, this is Jack Hammer from the Santa Rosa Press Democrat coming at you after the 49ers lose their preseason finale to the Houston Texans. They dropped it tonight 17-0. It was just a sloppy, undisciplined effort by the 49ers all around. It just wasn't good. There really wasn't anything on the offensive side that you can point to that was a positive. We might be able to find a couple as we go through the breakdown of the game. It's just going to be a quick one tonight, and then we'll talk a little bit about the defense. The defense wasn't much better either. It was a pretty sloppy affair all around for the 49ers in this one. Definitely some things to be considered with, to be frustrated with. Also, I think there's some things that need to be put into perspective in terms of where the team is right now and who is on the field too. So we'll get into it real quick. We've got Raphael 562 member of the Toolbox. He's in the house. He says, "What's up, Jack? Members of the Toolbox and everyone. Good to have you on board, Raphael." And then we have missed it. Dabada. He says, "Evening, Jack. Good to have you on as well." And then Raphael comes back in. He says, "Womack played well." He did. I thought he played. We'll get into Sam Womack. He's definitely one of those that I wanted to point out to tonight. Raphael also says that Mitch Wishnowsky was the player of the game. That's a good one. Las Vegas TI says Sudfeld is trash. I don't know if I'd say it's trash because I just don't go there often, but definitely wasn't a good performance tonight for Sudfeld. 5 of 10 with a pick. Not the best night for Sudfeld either. So let's just kind of go through it. I'm going to start off with Trey Lance. For me, here's the thing. Trey Lance looked like a quarterback who hadn't played in a game for nearly 2 weeks. Remember, he played the game he played on Friday night against the Green Bay Packers, didn't play last week against Minnesota. And not only did he not play last Saturday night against Minnesota, his last practice was Thursday of last week. Since Thursday of last week, Trey Lance had a total of 2 practices in the next 6 days. So, his performance tonight looked like it. You look at Lance's numbers, they looked okay. He completed 7 of 11 passes for 49 yards. That doesn't look bad, but the numbers don't really, I don't think, show what the performance was. I don't think that there was, Lance didn't show very much accuracy. Even some of his completions were inaccurate, limiting the yards after contact with the receiver, kind of stopping him. There was one across the middle. I think it was Malik Turner that caught it. He's got to slide on the ground instead of being able to catch it and run. Those are the kind of things. Those are the hidden yards that the 49ers got in years past that you need to have an accurate ball for those receivers to make plays. And if you're hitting the guy, that's fantastic. It's a completion. It's a nice one. Was it 15, 16 yards, something along those lines? Really nice. You hit that guy standing up, and next thing you know, it's a 20 to 30 yard gain possibly. So those are the hidden yards that the 49ers lost tonight. That's just one example of it. He threw inaccurate to George Kittle on the throw out to the right side that, quite frankly, reminded me of a lot of a kind of throw that I keep seeing get reported as a drop from 49ers receivers during training camp. Those kind of plays. That one that you saw go tip off the fingertips of George Kittle on the right side in the flat there. That's very similar to the drop, what was called a drop the other day in practice by Jermichael Hasty. Looked just like that. So it is what it is. I don't think, here's the thing. You go back, you look at the start of the game, the first series of the game, Lance, it started off right in the beginning. He had a completion, I believe, on his first one. His first throw to Kyle Juszczyk, a nice easy ball. Play action route to the right, hit him right between the numbers, nice 15-yard gain. But then after that, he got rough. The next time he drops back to pass, he gets some pressure off the right side, does a good job, escapes. He's running away from the defender. Brandon Ayuk is wide open, and he throws the ball to Ayuk 5 yards short of the receiver. The ball it's just a worm burner. And that's something that I saw that in practice this week. That was something that he did in practice on Tuesday, during Tuesday's practice. Was rolling out to his right, threw the ball to Brandon Ayuk, who was moving to his left, right? Because he's coming back to the quarterback, and the ball skips in the ground because he short arms it and he drives it into the ground. So it's not like that's a play that we haven't seen from Trey Lance in recent days. At least myself and the other reporters that were there. A couple of plays later, he's got Deebo Samuel down the right sideline. Samuel's got to step on the defensive back. He doesn't have great separation, but he's ahead of him. If that ball's thrown out in front of him, he might be able to make a play on it. Instead, the ball's underthrown just a touch, just enough for the defensive back to be able to be right there and knock the ball away. The ball slightly underthrown, like I said. It wasn't a big thing, but it was enough. And then, it's also, you got to say, I would be remiss if I didn't say this. It wasn't all on Lance. Lance had his issues. The issues that we saw from Lance aren't anything new, but tonight was also the offensive line had a lot to do with it as well. They definitely didn't do him any favors. There was constant pressure off the edges, and we're going to get to that in just a second. It was really rough on Lance with the pressure off of both sides, and it was like that for all the quarterbacks because the 49ers were without Mike McGlinchey. They were without Trent Williams. You take those two guys off the field, and the offensive line has looked like this throughout the preseason, throughout training camp. When Trent Williams or Mike McGlinchey, one of those two, is on the field, the offensive line all of a sudden looks better. Kind of makes sense when you got your starting tackles playing. But hey, that's kind of the way it is, and we'll get into those guys in just a minute. David Dog comes in with the super chat. Thank you very much. He says, "Would you bump Purdy to number 2 after this game, Coach?" Man, that's a tough one. I like Brock Purdy. There's a lot of reasons to like him. Brock Purdy is that guy who he's kind of like the underdog. That he's got some talent, but he's not the overachiever kind. That he's not the star kind of guy. He's that overachiever who you just want him to do good, right? You just want him to be successful. That's Brock Purdy. And really, that's kind of what Nick Mullins was when Nick Mullins was the quarterback. And that's what I see. The only difference that I see between Mullins and Purdy is that Purdy has a 1 in front of the 4 and he can move. Beyond that, I think that Brock Purdy and Nick Mullins are the same guy. You watch him play, like tonight's game, for example, and it's pass after pass. Oh, that's a nice pass. That's good. They get you going. Oh, that's good. Oh, look at that. Like 3 nice passes in a row. Wow, look at him move. Look at him get away from the rush. Look at him make that play. Look at that grittiness. And then it's like, what the heck are you doing? What are you throwing? And he throws it into right over the middle to a linebacker. And like Judkins Park here says, that's a good one. Brock Purdy is Rudy. In a lot of ways, that's true. He is. He's the guy that you want to have succeed. You want to see him do good because he's down there, but he's not okay. If Brock Purdy's your number 2, okay. I'm not going to argue about it. You can say you want Nate Sudfeld didn't play well tonight either. Brock Purdy put up better numbers. He had some nice throws down the field. Whatever. It's the 49ers. If they have to start Nate Sudfeld or Brock Purdy, doesn't matter. They're not going to win games if they have to start them more than once or twice in the season. No. Last year when the 49ers had a pretty decent team, they were 1-1 with Trey Lance. You put a guy like Brock Purdy or Nate Sudfeld in there with the starters, you'll be okay for a game, maybe 2. If you have to play them for more than that, your season's over with anyway. So I think that, like I was saying, I think I said this before the game. Sudfeld has that $2 million guarantee, so there's a possibility that you see the 49ers get him on the practice squad. Even if he's on the practice squad, I think he's technically going to be the backup because they say the 49ers bump him up to the active roster on game day, and like they did at times last year. That's what they did last year when Lance had to start and Garoppolo was injured. They would just promote Sudfeld up. So I think that's what you might see that. I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody out there that's going to be breaking down the door to get to Brock Purdy. But hey, I just called him Nick Mullins, and Nick Mullins just got traded for a 7th round draft pick in 2024 a couple days ago. So who knows? We'll see what happens there. But overall, I thought Trey Lance, it was an okay day. It was all right. He was 7-11. Some inaccurate throws. Whatever. It doesn't matter. You look at today's game. Jalen Moore. This is the guy the 49ers used last year, a 5th-round draft pick. He showed tonight, once again, why he was replaced by Tom Compton, a journeyman offensive tackle who people were making fun of during training camp in 2020. Yet Moore was replaced by Compton for the second half of last year, and the 49ers went on a run and made it to within 3 points of the Super Bowl. Moore has just, I don't know what the 49ers are doing here. When you watch Moore in pass protection in camp, working at tackle, he gets beat. He gets beat all the time. And Moore's been out for quite a bit, so we haven't really seen a whole lot of him this last week. It's really been a few weeks, but he came back this week, and they didn't do one-on-ones this week and those kind of things. But when Jalen Moore's on the field at tackle, he gets beat. When Jalen Moore's on the field at guard, he's okay. He's better at guard than he is at tackle, that's for sure. He's not a tackle. He's not a starting NFL tackle he's not a starting NFL tackle. If 49ers have to start him in a game, it's going to be rough. Especially last year Compton was okay, McKivitz was worse. Moore's not as good as Tom Compton. Colton McKivitz isn't as good as Tom Compton. So whatever you felt about Tom Compton being the guy coming off the bench, McKivitz and Moore aren't as good as him. McKivitz is closer, but not Moore. And that's part of the problem tonight is Moore was out there playing, struggling. Colt McKivitz is starting on the other side. You put McKivitz and Moore on the field at the same time, and it's rough. I thought he played slightly better than Moore. That's not saying much, though. If the 49ers have to go into a game with Trent Williams and McGlinchey both out, they better run the ball 50 times because these guys can't pass protect. They're just not good. And McKivitz isn't as bad, but he's not good either. And that's the other thing, too. The reporters were talking about the guys on the broadcast were talking about this tonight, right? The stuff with Jimmy Garoppolo and why are the 49ers making the move off of Garoppolo? It's easy to understand why they're making the move off of Garoppolo. The guy makes $27 million. He doesn't stay healthy. They made the choice going into 2021 that they were going to go in a different direction. They wanted to go in a different direction. They went out and they got Trey Lance. We'll see how it plays out for him. But even with a shoulder, even with a thumb that could barely grip the ball, he went into Los Angeles with Colt McKivitz as his left tackle and Tom Compton as his right tackle. And they came back to win from being down 17-0. And he drove them down the field twice at the end of the game. Once he threw an interception, which put them behind. And then late in the game, drove them down the field again to put them up to tie the game. And then he drove them down the field again in overtime. It was a really nice drive. It wasn't all Jimmy Garoppolo, but he played a part in it with his completions to Juwan Jennings to keep the clock moving on third down. And this is a guy with a bad thumb playing with Colton McKivitz and Tom Compton, getting the ball out on time, making plays. Trey Lance, big arm, can move around. We'll see what happens. We'll look at the film this week just to make sure that I'm not losing it, and I'll come on and do a film breakdown for you guys this week if you'd like. There were times where I thought the ball should have come out and it didn't. Instead, he's running around. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like. But that's going to be an issue for the 49ers. He's young. He's working on it. We'll see what's going to happen. We'll see. I think he's going to be fine. I think once the season starts and you've got the starters in there and you've got Trent Williams, and we'll see if McGlinchey's ready or not. Let's say he's not. But even with Trent Williams on the field, it changes the way that this offensive line can play. Because if you know that you've got a lockdown guy at left tackle, you can kind of help everybody else along the line of scrimmage. Kind of send all your protections to help everybody else. So we'll see how it works out. Flav says, Jack, 4.5 average from Trey. He can't hit anyone in stride. Yet going way down this year. Another reason Jimmy was underappreciated. Have to keep Purdy. Yeah, here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you that Brock Purdy should be playing over Trey Lance. I'm never going to go there right now. That's not going to happen. I understand what you're saying. I already mentioned the yak piece. It's great that he was 7 for 11. That's great. If you watch the game, you can see that there's some those completions aren't accurate balls. The guy caught it, but just because the guy catches it doesn't mean it's an accurate throw. An accurate throw that allows the receiver to keep running is important in this offense, is important in any offense. It's part of why Joe Montana was what he was, part of why Steve Young was what he was. He was able to hit Jerry Rice in stride, and they helped Jerry Rice be a great receiver too. And obviously Rice helped them. But it is what it is. It's one game. We don't have a big enough sample size to really hammer down on Trey Lance right now. We know what he put up in training camp. We know what he did in training camp. People have been saying repeatedly that it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't. Because once the games start, it's about winning and losing. Tonight doesn't matter when it comes to that either. But he didn't look any better tonight than he's looked during training camp. 7 of 11. Awesome. Good numbers. Didn't move the ball very well. A lot of pressure. Some inaccurate balls. What have you. And as thank you very much, Flay, for the super chat. I'm telling you, Jalen Moore, just talked about him. Colt McGivitz, just talked about him. Spencer Burford, what are you going to say? The rookie right guard, he's been impressive during training camp. Been impressive for the most part in the first 2 preseason games. Tonight, he had two holding penalties. Those are bad. They came on at bad times. You can't have holding penalties and continue drives. That's one of the things that killed the 49ers in games early in the season was just stupid penalties. And Burford gets called twice for holding penalties in this one. Got to clean it up. Again, undisciplined. You can't be doing that stuff and win games. That's the right tackle. That's the right guard that everybody's been talking about, myself included, about being so good. He's been playing there all offseason, throughout training camp. Wasn't good tonight. 2 holding penalties doesn't cut it. Aaron Banks over at left guard. He's been the whipping boy for everybody. Today, with the offense facing 4th and 3 at the Texans 35, the Houston defender beats him with a quick inside move, drops Trey Sermon for a loss of 3. You look at that and you say, that's a bad play by Sermon. He should have been whatever, another negative run. But in reality, that's Banks' fault. Bad for Banks. Bad Banks. Bad Banks on that one. So let's take a look at Jason Poe. Everybody loves Jason Poe, right? Jason Poe should be starting. What are you watching if you think Jason Poe should be starting? Jason Poe is a good player. He's decent. He's an undrafted rookie free agent, 5'11", 6 foot tall. We saw that play out tonight. 49ers tried to run the ball left side. The defender just runs a swim move, just puts his hand, gets his arm over the top of him because he's so short. That's why he was an undrafted rookie free agent. Despite his quickness and his strength, Poe's lack of size opens him up to those types of plays. We saw it play out tonight. It's one of the things that we've been talking about at different times in this training camp. So I like Jason Poe. Thought he'd be okay. Thought he's going to be good. We'll see. Again, the talk of him being a lock to make the roster. Okay. I don't think he's a good player. Is he better than Aaron Banks? He might be eventually. But, if we're going to sit here and we're going to talk about the miss by Aaron Banks on 4th and 3, you got to talk about the height of Jason Poe playing a factor when he gets beat for a loss on a run play to his side. It's not the first time that he's done it. So I'm going to get to the running backs. Flav also comes in and talks still on the Trey thing. Also a 3.2 second release from Trey today. Would be slowest in NFL. Definitely doesn't help his own line. Jimmy could at least get the ball out and help negate. That's part of what I was talking about earlier, how they were able to work around it last year. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Here's the thing. Justin School's a veteran tackle coming off of an injury. This guy's been a turnstile throughout training camp and pass protection. Showed up again tonight. Texans defenders constantly running around him. on their way to the quarterback. The 49ers offensive line tonight was atrocious. The quarterbacks were okay. Trey Lance, whatever. I get it. Trey Lance is the guy the 49ers used 3 first-round picks for. Trey Lance is meant to represent everything that Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't. Supposed to have the big arm, supposed to move, supposed to do all those things. Tua says, Jack, why are you so down on Lance? If they do better, if they have a better O-line, you wouldn't say a lot of negative stuff on Lance. Okay. If Trey Lance played well, I wouldn't say negative stuff on Lance. 7-11's okay. Like I said, 7-11, 49 yards, had a lot of pressure. I just got done speaking for the last probably 10 minutes about the offensive line and all the issues that happened up in front today. I also talked about how Colton McKivitz played left tackle for the 49ers in Week 18 in Los Angeles against a starting defensive line consisting of Aaron Donald and the pass rusher that they got from Denver, who is now out in Buffalo, Von Miller. Very good defensive line in Los Angeles. 49ers won that game because they had a good running game, Deebo Samuel making plays, and Jimmy Garoppolo making plays in the fourth quarter when they needed to get down the field to tie it up. I don't know what to tell you. I know that people think I'm a Jimmy Garoppolo lover. Whatever, man. Guy won games when he played. Was he perfect? Hell no. Jimmy Garoppolo was a flawed quarterback. He won. He got a lot of help from his teammates. He played with an offensive line that was about as bad as what we saw tonight and won games. I don't know. There are plays to be made by Trey Lance. Didn't make them. So if you want to hear somebody tell you that Lance played good tonight, I'm not the guy to be watching. I'm sorry. I don't think he played good. He was 7-11. Missed Deebo Samuel, who had a step on the defender. Threw the ball into the ground while moving to his right. I know he was running full speed, but hey, this is a guy that's supposed to be able to throw on the run, right? That's one of the reasons why you've got him. Those secondary plays, right? Threw the ball into the ground. Did that in practice this week too. Will he be better? Yeah, probably. We'll probably tune in on, during the regular season. The 49ers might be off to a start, and you're going to say, Jack, you're wrong on Trey Lance. And I'll say, was I? I've been saying that Trey Lance has the potential to be okay. He has the potential to get it done. Never said that he sucks. Never said that Lance shouldn't have been drafted. Never said that he's not good. I've said that he has some things that he's working on. The thought that he's going to blow the lid off the NFL, we'll see. He might. To even Lance's fiercest defenders on YouTube and Twitter will tell you to be patient with him. They'll tell you that he has stuff that he has to work on. Okay. But I'm the bad guy because I'm telling you he had a bad game. I know that he had a lot of pressure tonight. I just got done talking about it, like I said. He wasn't good. Ross Dwelly. Let's talk about a positive. Ross Dwelly. Dwelly caught all 3 passes that came his way tonight. That 30-yard reception up the seam, that was the longest 49ers pass play of the night, and he just did a terrific job of holding on to the ball. Got slammed by the safety as soon as the ball reached him. Nice play by Dwelly, though. Big gain. It was a good night for him. He might have found his way onto the roster, I think. I think he was probably right there. He was probably the guy that had it over Croft. I think there's a battle there. I think Dwelly performed well tonight and probably, deserves that chance, that spot. Croft, for his effort tonight, he had 3 targets. Same number as Dwelly. He caught 2 of them for 23 yards. His long was 13. Different kind of throws, different kind of plays. Let's see what else we've got. Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings is a positive tonight, in a way. Jennings has struggled with hold on the ball throughout training camp. Tonight, he had 4 targets come his way, caught 3 of them for 34 yards. It was a good game for Jennings. Good to see him have a positive night. Dwelly with a nice play. Jennings with a couple of them. He had a really nice catch from Brock Purdy down the middle of the field. That was a really nice one. I think it was 26 yards on that play. Sweet catch in traffic. Really nice. It's good to see him make that play. I really like Juwan Jennings. I think he has the potential to be that big tight end, big receiver, kind of in the tight end role. Not really going to be, don't expect him to be the blocker, but I like Juwan Jennings. He's had a rough training camp. He's going to be on the roster. He's going to be the Flyers' third receiver. It was good to see him have a good night. The running game, yeah. Jeff Wilson Jr. started the game, carried the ball 3 times for 16 yards. That's the good. Beyond that, the other 3 running backs carried the ball 12 times for 24. Trey Sermon was held under 2.5 yards per attempt. He had 2.5 tonight. He's been held to under 2.5 or less in every game. Tonight was his first game over 2 yards per carry. Ty Davis Price, 4 carries for 3 yards, minus 3 yards, I think it was. He averaged negative 0.8 yards per carry tonight. Even Jordan Mason, though. Jordan Mason's been the glamour boy of the preseason. He struggled tonight. He had 7 yards on 4 carries. He had a couple of carries, good carries that were called back due to penalties and those kind of things. But it wasn't bad. I thought he was okay, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Trey Sermon. Ty Davis Price didn't get on the field till the 4th quarter tonight. That's about where he belongs. So we'll see. I was never high on him when they drafted him. And the 49ers have a bunch of, they've hitched their wagon with 2 third-round draft picks that are big, between the tackles runners who don't go where they're supposed to go, who don't see the field well, who dance in the backfield. Their best running back outside, Jeff Wilson Jr. was their best running back tonight. Jeff Wilson Jr. actually hits the holes, actually goes where he's supposed to go. Ran through people. It was really good. I thought his 3 carries were nice. I really like Jeff Wilson Jr. He's going to make this roster. He should be the 49ers' second running back. He should be a big part of what they do. In some ways, he should be the 3rd down back too, if it's not Kyle Juszczyk. Jermichael Hasty didn't get any carries tonight. He caught a couple passes. When we look at the running game as a whole, like I said, wasn't good. So part of that is the offensive line. They were, the other thing too, when you go into this game, if you're getting upset about the way that the 49ers, because the 49ers got manhandled in this game up front on both sides of the ball. The 49ers offensive line got beat. The 49ers defensive line got beat. Samson Ebukam got a sack on the first play of the game. After that, the Houston Texans just drove the ball right down the 49ers' throats. They owned the line of scrimmage. The other part about tonight's game, Houston went into this game and played it old school, where they played their starters the entire first half and into the second, the whole first half and into the second half. The 49ers, the Texans starting offense did not come out until after their first possession of the second half. I think they might have scored a touchdown on that one. But that's the way it used to be back in the day. Joe Montana, Steve Young, those guys would in preseason game number 3, they'd play a half. Usually they'd come out after the halftime, play one possession after halftime, so that they'd get used to going in at half and coming out after. Trey Lance should have played the full half. I get the fact that they have the issues. If Trent Williams isn't hurt, he should have played tonight. Mike McGlinchey, he's hurt, so he shouldn't have. But if Trent Williams is healthy, no reason I say if healthy is because Kyle Shanahan mentioned, about if they get Trent Williams back. I don't think he's hurt. I think he's fine. He should have played tonight. The 49ers needed him there. Trey Lance needs the reps. He needed the reps. I understand that Trey Lance did good against Minnesota in joint practices. Awesome. You need games You need to get down there in front of the lights with people in the stands, with all the noise and everything that goes on to it, in a situation that's not controlled, and play the game. Play the game where you can get your head taken off. Yeah, that's not good, right? Obviously, right? You don't want that to happen to you. But you've got to play where you've got to have some fear. You don't have fear when you play in practice because those guys can't hit you, and everybody on the field knows it, quarterback included. You need to play where you're getting hit. There's a reason why Steve Young, when he was playing for the 49ers in a preseason game against the San Diego Chargers, was trying to make a play without a helmet because he was trying to get better, and he played the game like it was a game, like a real game. Moving over to the defensive side, got hit on Samuel Womack. Somebody mentioned earlier, I think it was Raphael 5629ers mentioned up Samuel Womack. The rookie made his start at cornerback. He played on the outside tonight. It was kind of an up and down game for Womack on the outside. He was in possession the first time they went after him on a deep ball down the sideline. Was able to break it up. A little bit later on, though, in the drive, down at the goal line, Houston threw it at him again, and he got called for a pass interference and put the ball in the one. Houston scored a touchdown right after that. That was kind of a bummer. So a little up and down there. But then the good part is, you don't expect Sam Womack to be playing on the outside. He's going to be the slot. And playing in the slot in the second quarter, ran stride for stride with Texans wide receiver Chris Moore. Womack was able to get his hand on the ball, break it up, actually knocked it into the air, just enough for Tavarius Moore to come over and grab it out of the air for an interception and a touchback. Fantastic play by Womack in position that he's going to be in. This guy's going to be a stud in the slot. Outside, he hasn't practiced it enough. He's been focusing everything on the slot. If the 49ers want him to be working on both, and they're going to have to start having to practice more on the outside than they did just this week. But they've got 17 days now before their next one. And then Tariq Castro-Fields, the other rookie, he had a really nice play on 3rd and 3. It was in the first quarter. He was all over Nico Collins on a quick slant and was able to get his hands on the ball for a pass breakup. I think that was the highlight of the preseason for Castro-Fields. That was really good to see. Good to see the rookie have a good game, make a big play right there. That was nice to see. Nick asks, or Keith, excuse me, says, are the Niners defense going against Hunter Renfrow and Adams week 16? When the 49ers get to week 16, the defense you saw tonight is going to be different. I think is that week 16? I think it's 16 or 17. But by the time they get to that game against the Raiders, where they got to deal with Renfrow and Adams, there's a possibility they're going to have Travarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, Jason Verrett, and Sam Womack all healthy. So we'll see where the 49ers are when they get there, right? There's a long way to go for that. 420 Savage says, Womack scrappy. I like that guy. I agree. He's very good. He's very good. I've been high on him ever since watching his college film. Houston has a good defense. If they score 20 points per game, they can make the playoffs with a good run game. Yeah, I've been saying that. We'll see if they can do that. We'll see if they can get the run game going and stuff. Tonight they struggled. Going to keep talking through the defense really quick. Samson Ebukam had a couple big plays. He beat the left tackle to get a sack on Davis Mills on the first play of the game for the defense. Later on, it was the second quarter, I believe. Ebukam was able to pressure Mills, force him up in the pocket, and that led to a sack by Jordan Willis. So Ebukam had a strong game tonight. Same thing with Charles Omenihu. He had a sack. He ended up with the third sack of the game for the 49ers. So good on Charles Omenihu. And I already talked about Brock Purdy. And, Purdy, like I said, he's Nick Mullins with the ability to move. Remember it was like to watch Mullins play, make some nice throws, then hit a defender with the hands for a turnover, fumble the ball, go the other way, all those kind of things. That's what Purdy did tonight. Make some solid plays, hits a linebacker in the hands for an interception. Tonight, at least, Purdy looked better than Nate Sudfeld. We'll see what direction they go there. Las Vegas TI asks, can you speak on the running back situation? Who do you think should be cut? Trey Sermon and Ty Davis-Price? Not going to happen. I don't think Ty Davis-Price is Trey Sermon and Ty Davis-Price are the same guy. the 49ers went out and they drafted basically two guys in the last 2 years who are volume backs. If you watch Trey Sermon in college, I think he had 8 games over 100 yards in college. His best games are when he carried the ball a lot. Was never really a big a guy who was going to get big yards on just a couple of carries. And so unless the 49ers plan on giving him the ball a lot, I don't see it. Same thing with Ty Davis Price. Even you watch Ty Davis Price at LSU, I know he had a big game against Florida, but most of the time when you watch Ty Davis Price at LSU, volume back, needs a lot of carries to get the yards. He's got the power. Doesn't show it in the NFL because he doesn't run to the right spot. Do I think they're going to cut him? No. I think there's a possibility that Sermon gets cut. I go back to it. You asked me about the running back situation. Myself, I said this in the pregame, you might not have seen it. But if you take the numbers off the numbers and names off the jerseys, Sermon and Davis Price are not on this roster. That's not the way it works, though. They were drafted, which is kind of like giving a scholarship. And the scholarship guys always get more chances than the non-scholarship guys. So I think that's going to be I think you'll see it's going to be Mitchell. It's going to be Jeff Wilson Jr., probably Ty Davis Price. Jordan Mason got some run earlier tonight. We'll see. We'll see where he is. We'll see if they were just kind of playing a game right there. We'll see if it's one of those situations where everybody's talking about him. So it's like, let's throw him out there. Let's see what he can do. Let's show him what he really is. Okay. We'll find out what they feel like. Tuesday is the cut down day. The running back room is an interesting one. It definitely is. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to make that decision unless they're able to maybe get somebody that's going to be able to, if one of those backs kind of agrees that they'll come back on the practice squad, and if they don't get picked up or whatever. I like Michael Hasty. I thought Hasty's been a really good back in the preseason. Been doing a really good job running between the tackles, which is kind of the question with him based on his size. But I think he's done well. I think that he's done really well. And I agree with you here on this one. 420 Savage, the Drake Jackson roughing the quarterback penalty being bull. They said that on the game broadcast that it was a bad call. The official that they have on the broadcast with him said it was a bad call. He was right there. He was right in his face. He didn't hit him in the helmet. Knocked him on his butt. Almost knocked his head off. It was close. I don't know if he could have stopped himself in that situation and not made contact. I don't know if maybe he might have been able to hit him not quite so hard. I don't know. But that was a rough one. That was a tough one for them. It was one of those in between, but you just can't make that play for Jake Jackson. You've got to figure out a way to stop. And so that is an issue there. And George comes up with really what the most important piece tonight is, and he's right. George says, most importantly, no one was hurt. It's a short week for a preseason game as well. And you're absolutely right, George. I think that's part of why the 49ers looked as undisciplined and sloppy as they did tonight, was they just played on Sunday or Saturday. They flew all the way across from Minnesota home. They had Sunday off, practiced on Monday, practiced Tuesday, flew out to Houston for another game halfway across the country on a short week. Didn't play all of their starters. They only had, I think, one starter on defense play tonight. They had a bunch of guys on offense. They had 8 of their starters on offense. But I think you're right. And you say also that Shanahan could have put points on the board. He could have. They could have kicked a field goal there on 4th down at the 35. I don't think he's worried about putting points on the board. He was trying to get the offense to stay on the field. That's what that was about. He wanted the offense to get a first down. They were in a situation that they're going to be in during the regular season, fourth and short. Can you pick it up? Doesn't matter if, and they went after it a couple of times in this game and got shut down on all of them. So right now they're just not there. But again, here's the thing. This is, I said it earlier. It's a preseason game. They're playing against a Houston Texans team that played its starters a lot more than the 49ers did. Houston's playing at home, short week for them, but they're playing at home. which is a benefit. And 17 days, the 49ers get the rest up, and they get to get ready to go play the Chicago Bears week 1 on September 11th in Chicago. And that's what matters. 49ers came out of this game without injuries. Kyle Shanahan mentioned that. I think the 49ers are going to be fine. Are there things to be concerned about? Absolutely. But there's things I think they're going to be fine. John says, I was confident beating the Bears week 1 before tonight. Don't worry about it. The biggest problem with the 49ers today was not the quarterback. It was the offensive line, right? Because of the pressure that he was put on, the lack of rushing lanes, what have you. When Trent Williams is there at left tackle, the offensive line is going to look better. Are they going to look great? I think they'll look like world beaters. No, but they're going to look better, and they're going to move the ball. They'll be fine. Are they a Super Bowl team right now? No. I don't think they're that far off, though. I don't think there's a team in the NFC that's really better than them. They just need to get it all together, and they haven't done it. And they, like I said, they're 17 days before they played their first game. 17. Half of a month before the 49ers played their first regular season game. So we're going to be hearing about this performance for the next 16 days. And it's going to be really easy to fall into the trap of, oh my gosh, this team is bad. Oh my gosh, this offensive line is awful. That's a correct take if they are playing Colton McKivitz and Jalen Moore at tackles, which they won't be. Dan Rostek, member of the Toolbox, says, Jack, stupid question. How does Lance improve his accuracy? Is it just reps, or does he need to change something mechanically? Trey Lance needs to get his throwing motion to be repeatable, the same over and over and over and over again. Trey Lance does not have a repeatable throwing motion at this point. It's the arm slot's different. The way that he's stepping with his legs is different. It was brought up about his left knee, sometimes locking, sometimes not. Again, you've got to be consistent in your motion. I don't care if you're locking your knee or you're bending your knee. If you're doing it differently from time to time, that's what causes inconsistency and inaccuracy. It's the same thing with his arm slot. If you're throwing over the top sometimes and you're throwing from the side sometimes, you're going to have some inaccuracy stuff. Trey Lance isn't Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes played a lot more in college, was a lot more seasoned when he got to the NFL. There's a few guys like Patrick Mahomes, but there's not very many. So is Trey Lance, again, this isn't meant to be a bummer fest on Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is going to be fine. He's going to have his ups. He's going to have his downs. But he's going to have more ups than downs this season. Even if he's only a 57% completion percentage, he's still going to have more ups because 57 is better than 50-50, right? So he's going to have his ups and downs. He's going to struggle at times. He's going to have to use his legs at times to survive because his eyes aren't, he's not going to be trusting his eyes always. So just got to let it play out. Let it play out. 17 days. That's when it matters. You got 17 days. And at that point, we'll see where the 49ers are. We can say whatever we want about them right now. I can tell you that Lance looked bad. Whatever. Doesn't matter. If Lance goes out and balls out week 1 in Chicago and the 49ers start off the season 1-0, nobody's going to care about what happened tonight. There'll probably be some people that are telling me, I remember that. Okay. But other than that, it's not going to matter. In the grand scheme of things, what happened tonight was a learning experience, preseason game, without 2 of your starting tackles. You played 8 of your 11 starters on offense. You struggled, but those tackles that were missing tonight were a big part of it. So let's see how it works out. The 49ers have, like I said, 17 days. Tuesday, the team will have to be down to from 80 to 30 to 53. And then they'll be building up a 16-man practice squad after that. And my guy over here in the comments section, my pal that I always do my shows with on Monday and Friday, Big Rob, in the house. Good to see you, Rob. He says, it's going to be a long 17 days, my friend. Regular season can't get here soon enough. And you are 100% correct. It's going to be a long 17 days. Long 17 days. To have that performance tonight be what everybody is going to be talking about for the next 16 days leading up to that, it's going to be a long time. Long one. So it's okay. It's all right. Give me a long. Can't wait. September 7th, September 11th. Can't get here quick enough. It's going to be fun. SG Sports Chalk Channel. I think that's Chardal. Says, what's up, Jack? What's up, Chardal? I think that's you. Hope you're doing well. Last one real quick. It says Shock Max. The first says, anybody that you didn't think would make the final roster before tonight that changed your mind? Well, the news on Jimmy Ward possibly being out for the first 4 weeks on IR, I think means that Tayshaun Gibson makes it. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I think that Ross Dwelly makes the roster. I thought he was on the bubble. Outside of that, I don't think there was any major shifts with it. I don't think there's a whole lot beyond that. Brock Purdy, number 2, maybe. Don't care. If it's Brock Purdy or Nate Sudfeld, 49ers aren't going to struggle. They might win one, but if they got to play multiple games with those guys, they're going to lose. I thought that Purdy played well. I also like Nick Mullins, though. I think, like I said earlier, Nick Mullins and Brock Purdy are the same guy. The only difference is one guy can move and one guy has a number 1 in front of the 4. Anyway, 49ers came out of this game healthy, and that's all that matters. Chris Royal, member of the Toolbox, super chat for $1.99. Thank you very much. He says, this was a rough game, top to bottom. It was. Texans dominated. They manhandled the 49ers at the line of scrimmage, and they won the game. And that's all that matters. 49ers, this game doesn't matter. Remember the season that the Detroit Lions went 0-16? Anybody remember what their record was during the preseason? Do you remember that season with Dan Orlovsky running out of the back of the end zone in a game they lost 12-10? The Detroit Lions went 0-16. That year in the preseason, they were 4-0. They're undefeated in the preseason. That's how much this game matters. That's how much matters. Chris Royal, another super chat, says none of the 3 phases played well. I agree. That's one of the things. The other thing is the return game tonight. I saw 2 returns I marked down for Ray McLeod. They never got to the 25. Come on, man. You got to get past the 25. Just let the ball go in the end zone then. Line your guy up at the 1 and hope that it bounces into the end zone so you can down it or goes out the back of the end zone so you can get the ball in the 25 if you can't return it past that. Right? I know I'm not even in a bad mood, quite frankly. I just don't think they played well. It was an ugly game for the 49ers. But 17 days, that's when it's going to matter. And we'll see what happens then. 17 days, the 49ers will strap it up in Chicago. It's going to be fun because that's when it all starts. That's when it gets real. Going to be a lot of talk for the next 2 weeks, week and a half leading up to that week. Got about a week and a half to go before it's actually game week. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait. I love talking 49ers with you guys. That's my thing. I love talking football. Been around football for too long to not love it. And it's 10 o'clock now on the West Coast. I got to get going. But I want to say thank you to everybody in the comment section. You guys are great. You guys have had some really good comments. Got 85 people in here. I really appreciate you guys putting up with me for this long. I really appreciate you guys with putting up for me with my take on Trey Lance. Again, I didn't think he played well tonight. Did he play awful? No. But he was also dealing with some pressure from the offensive line and all those kinds of things. So we'll see how it works. It's going to be fun. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a show with Rob, I think, on his channel. We'll see. I will be doing one on my channel as well. I'll be doing a show with Rohan tomorrow on my channel, kind of a game recap with him to get his idea, what he thought of the game. He might be a little more positive than me, or maybe I'll drag him down with me. Raphael 5629er says, like and subscribe, everybody. Yep, please do that. And Dabada, thank you very much. Congrats on the 5K. He says, thank you. It's been a crazy month. We started training camp and I was around 4,200, 43, 4,400, something like that. We were over 5,000 now. Hit that yesterday. So excited, really happy with everything that's going on with the channel. Definitely have made some changes. You guys might have noticed it in terms of, doing some more videos and things like that to kind of, try to do fun stuff that I know people like other than just me talking. So hope you enjoy it. I want to say thank you to everybody for taking the time tonight to watch this. Chris Royal, thank you very much for being a member of the Toolbox, and thank you for always being around and keeping me on the straight and narrow. And as Raphael 5629er says, before you leave, do me a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and once you're done subscribing, hit that little bell notification so you know when we go live. I don't always have the same exact schedule, so by having that bell notification on, you'll know when I'm going live. And then also on top of that, get yourselves over to 49ersdesk.pressdemocrat.com. That's the Inside the 49ers blog. That's where I write. Those are the guys that pay me to do this. Go check them out. Make that a favorite on your web browser and hit it up every day just to see if there's something new. Once the season starts and once this team gets down to 53, I'm going to get into the groove of writing on a daily basis. I kind of have an outline already of what I'm going to be writing about topic-wise, kind of what my focus is going to be on that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So check it out. Go show it. Go check it out. Show it to your friends. Show it to your 49er friends that are maybe not checking it out already, and help that thing grow as well, because the Press Democrat does a great job of this. And Las Vegas asked, what's your record prediction? Depends. If the 49ers go 6-0 to start the season and 6 winnable games, I think they get the 13 wins. If the 49ers go 4-2, which I think is the worst case scenario they should have during that time, I think they're at a 10-11 win team. So 10-11, 13-14, just depends on how those first 6 games go. So hope you're on. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys like the show. Thank you very much to Titan Party 808, who says I'm on it right after this. Thank you very much. Have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Thank you.